Sky Jeans, and this is the Kern River Fly Fishing Report. Today is March 12th, 2012, and every year about this time, about the third week of March, we get into some great fishing. The water temperatures are about 52 degrees, and the upper Kern River just comes alive. It's amazing. We're starting to see a little bit of a March brown emergence, which is a little mayfly about a size 14. And we're also seeing a little bit of a squalla hatch, which is a small brown stonefly. We're also getting into the black stoneflies, which actually turn into the salmon flies, which are gigantic, so about a size 6 or about a size 8. We've been doing some nymphing. We've been doing some dry fly with a dropper. We've also been stripping streamers. And right now I'd like to show you what I'm using, a 3-fly setup, kind of a European Czech nymph style rig. So what I'm doing now, you guys, is I'm going to show you my nymph rig that I like to use here on the Upper Kern. You can use this same rig anytime on any stream you fish on, really. So I've got a floating line, and then attached to my floating line I've got roughly about 18 to 20 inches of this orange amnesia, which is this stuff here. And then attached to that I've got a piece of monofilament that's pretty thick, roughly about 20 pounds or so, basically another butt section. Most people, what they like to do is have their orange amnesia like this as their indicator, and then they'll put on a piece of 4X straight from there down to their first fly, which works great too. But you also can put a piece of butt section on here, so you can put an indicator on here if you want. Sometimes when you're European style nymphing, you'll come to a deep slot and you want to dead drift those flies in there, and you can take this same rig that I'm about to show you guys and do that. So from this point, from where I got my butt section, I'm going to pull off roughly about 6 feet of 4X tippet. And then right where I'm at the 4X tippet, at the end here, I'm going to pull off roughly about 18 inches or so, tie a triple surgeon's knot, and cut off the bottom tag and put my first fly. From there, I'm going to pull off roughly about 18 inches again, do a triple surgeon's knot, cut off the bottom tag, and put my second fly. Then from this point here, from my second fly, I'm going to roughly pull off 18 inches again, and I'm going to put my very last fly. What I like to do is put my heaviest fly in the middle. So the heaviest weight is in the middle, so these guys, these other flies, are up in a little bit different water column when you're pulling these flies through the current. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to show you guys how to present the flies correctly and show you a couple casts as well. With this type of fly fishing, we're not doing a lot of back and forth casting because we have multiple flies. We have 3 flies at a time. And if we're going back and forth false casting, we're going to end up in a rat's nest, and it's going to drive you bananas. So what we do is we do these kind of plop casts, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to kind of plop it downstream, and that gives me my angle. So now I've got my angle to where I'm going to be casting, which is approximately directly up this way. And I'm going to raise my rod up, and I'm going to accelerate to an abrupt stop. Boom. And that straightens my flies out so that I can pull my flies downstream slightly faster than the current. Let me show you guys that again. So I'm going to lift this up, accelerate to an abrupt stop, pop. And then I'm going to pull my flies slightly faster than the current downstream. So the magic about this type of nymphing is not going too fast or not going too slow. So what I like to teach is I like to have about a foot of fly line on the water at all times. If I don't have a foot of fly line on the water, the line will come off the water and I'm going too fast. If I'm going too slow, then I have way too much fly line on the water. So my gauge is keeping about a foot of fly line or my orange amnesia on the water at all times. And that will give me the right speed to go slightly faster than the current downstream. Nice. Try to get a stomach sample of what the fish are eating out there, and that'll give us a good indication of what they're feeding on. And how I do that is I like to turn the fish upside down, and it basically creates their equilibrium so they're kind of almost get really slow and lethargic. Lift him up gently without squeezing him, and I'm going to put this into his stomach. He'll let me, just like that. And then I'm going to turn him back up, and I'm just going to see if I got something there. I did, okay. So now I'm going to let him go back in so somebody else can have a chance to catch him. Awesome. So I just took this stomach sample from this trout I just caught, and I'm going to squirt the contents out of the stomach pump into my hand here, and we'll be able to see a little bit more. You can see all these midges that they're eating. Let's see if I can get a little bit better. There we go. Look at all that. So if you look real close, you can see some mayfly nymphs, but mostly all these are midges right here that they're eating. You can see they're roughly about a size 20, 22, really small. And these are actually called the black fly larvae. And there's some other things in here too. Here's right over here, this is a Baetis nymph. And then there's also another one over here. And these are a little bit bigger. And but mostly you can see they're all midges, which all these larvae here turn into a two-wing insect called the black fly.